qara'in, or they say a which, why wow or and here makes the obligation of what? Found the order. Because if that wasn't the case, they would have all been linked together. It would not have been put in the middle. It would have been everything that's washed that comes first, which is the what? The face. The hands to the what? To the elbow, and the feet would have been all linked together. If that was in that instance, it would not have been for order. But that's not the case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it in which there's maghsul, maghsul, mamsuh, maghsul. Where it was white was where? In the middle. So in that instance, it's obligatory to follow that what? That order. So that's the first evidence. You caught it or not? And if not, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. طيب. So that's in that first instance. Likewise, you'll find that also you'll find Ahl-Ilm mentioned another reason. That what is close to each other should be mentioned. As far as in the Arabic language, that the Arab in their Arabic language, when they wanted to maintain it, of course, back then, what is considered fasaha, eloquence, to follow a certain order, you will mention what is closest. If you look in the ayah, what is close starts with, of course, the face, and then what? Then after the face comes what? The hands. That's not close. What is closest, you would think, would be the face, and then what? The head. But it wasn't mentioned like that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it from the face, and then where? The hands, and then go back where? To the head again. To let you know that you have to follow what? This order exactly. Because if they were close to each other, then that means there's no order. You could just choose how you want to do it. But due to the fact that Allah made it like this, necessitates that has to be done exactly like this. Did you catch it or not? Do I have to repeat it one more time? The origin of the Arab, if one wants to do it where it's open, we're going to do it, you can do it this way, it's open. If that was the case, it would have been in a manner where everything is mentioned close by each other, then going outside of that. The ayah does not do that. The ayah on which Allah mentioned it is not in that way, excuse me. So it's done in which starts with what again? The face. After the face, then where? The hands to where? Then you have to go back where? To the head, and then where? Exactly. If you did not want to follow an arrangement or order, it would have been face, and then what would be the closest to it, which is exactly. But it was not mentioned like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala perfected his revelation for a reason. He knows what he revealed exactly why the ayat are arranged in the order of how it's arranged in. Because a lot of people don't know that. The people say, well, the Quran is why is arranged white. Another reason, this is just a side benefit that all of us need to know. If you really go to class in Aqidah and read the Quran and how Allah, because people say, why is the Quran arranged in the way it is? If you study the affairs of Aqidah, you will know that Allah made the Quran and revealed it and arranged it the way He arranged it, so it can never be used for falsehood. And if you study the affairs of refutations, anybody that tried to use the Quran for falsehood, it's flipped against them. It's flipped against them. You can never use one single verse from the Quran for falsehood. You can't. It's used in a way in which Allah intended it, so no one else come outside can now misinterpret it, except one with knowledge can come and flip that falsehood in their face. And every single refutation I've read, you'll find that every scholar that knew the affairs of the truth and evidences and proofs flipped the ayat against them. So the ayah is exactly against them, what they're trying to utilize it for, a falsehood. That's the reason why the Quran is also called what, everyone? The Furqan. That what separates between haqq and batil. If I had the opportunity, I could give you numerous examples of this. Like, for example, we give one example. We talked about this in class yesterday. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا يَكُونُ مِن نَجْوَى ثَلَاثَةٍ إِلَّا رَابِعُهُمْ وَلَا خَمْسَةٍ إِلَّا سَادِسُهُمْ وَلَا أَدْنَى مِنْ ذَلِكَ وَلَا أَكْثَرَ إِلَّا هُوَ مَعَهُمْ أَيْنَمَا كَانُوا. There's not a secret gathering of a third except he's the fourth, nor a fifth except he's the sixth, nor less than that, the more, except that he's with them all anywhere where they are. So a person would say that means Allah Himself is with us. Yeah, but look to the beginning of the ayah and look to the last part of it. أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مَا يَكُونُ مِن نَجْوَى ثَلَاثَةٍ إِلَّا هُوَ رَابِعُهُمْ, to the end of the ayah where it says, ثُمَّ يُنَبِّئُهُم بِمَا عَمِلُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. Allah started the ayah off with knowledge, and He ended the ayah off with knowledge. So that means He's with you what? That's what Imam Ahmed said to refute him. He said Allah inaugurated, started the ayah with knowledge, and He ended it off with knowledge. To let you know that He's with you with what? Person might try to use another ayah. It's for Balta, for falsehood. They'll say this. Allah's closer to you. I heard this when I was in New Shahadah. Allah's closer to you than your jugular vein. I'll see Allah says, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. He's closer to you than his jugular vein. So that means Allah is truly what? Inside of you. Look to the beginning part of the verse though. What does it say? وَلَقَدْ خَلَقَنَا الْإِنسَانُ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We have created mankind and we have knowledge of what whispers to him. And we are closer to him in his jugular vein. The first part of the verse was what? Allah made it clear. Knowledge. See how the Quran, the verses, can't use it for falsehood. Can't. You understand now? Good. Right. So that's to let you know, nobody from the plotters of the plot of Islam have nothing against the Muslims. You have nothing. You can't use anything. Except the person that has the knowledge can what? Flip your falsehood against you. At any rate, that's evidence to prove that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayah to what, everyone? Perfectly. In the order in which He perfected it, in a manner of how He arranged it for a reason. They're all perfected in the verses. They're all there. At any rate, for wudu, those are the two benefits that we wanted to mention. I hope you caught it. If you don't, let's keep going. So, let's keep going. But next. So, gotta finish. Let's finish. So now, that's the dalil for tartib. So know that the way that is done or mentioned in the verse, everyone, is in a manner that is what? For order. One has to do wudu in that what? In that order. Person might ask a question. What if I forgot? I was hasty, and I just happened to forget, or maybe I made the left before the right, or what have you. Your wudu still valid? Yes, absolutely. If you did it out of forgetfulness, if you stood up from the wudu, you know what? I forgot to wipe my head. For example, you wash your feet, you wash your hands to your elbows, and then wash your feet. Did I wipe my head? Can you now go back to the wudu, mutawadda, and now wipe over it and finish it? We say yes. You could do it. Absolutely. If you've done it out of forgetfulness, you could do it. Even to the point, if you probably even dried some of the parts. We'll talk about that in the dalil for that. We'll talk about that. Don't worry. The hadith or the athar of Abdullah bin Umar, when he was in a marketplace. Abdullah bin Umar radiyallahu anhu. He was in a marketplace, and he was in the souk. He made wudu. And he had the khuf on. He had a khuf, leather sock. He forgot to the point where he went to the masjid. When he arrived to the masjid, he remembered Oh, I forgot to wipe over the khuf. He wiped over it, and he said the group of the Sahaba saw him do it. And he wiped over the khuf and he prayed. So walking from the market all into the masjid, knowing that in that instance, what is expected? The parts of the wudu what? Are dry. Right or wrong? You see the benefits of learning knowledge. Knowledge is very important these days. So he walked to the masjid. What's expected, more than likely, is that the parts for wudu have what? Dried. When he arrived to the masjid, he what? Wiped over his khuf. Then he prayed. That's in the aspect of muwala also. Don't worry. Like, even if it wasn't in the aspect of the order, he might have forgotten a part, still the same thing. Go back and what? Wash it. Inshallah, your wudu is valid due to the fact you did not deliberately go against the ayah. You just what? Just forgot. Right. So let's move on. How long have we been speaking? Oh, gotta stop. It's too long. Because I know the complaints are going to come. They're going to come. It's too long with it. I can't come to this class. You think I don't hear it? I hear all the complaints. This class is too long. I can't go. Anything else? We'll stop here. We'll stop here, inshallah. Fadal. I wanted to talk about muwala. Muwala is important. Is it a condition? Do you have to follow it? I wanted to mention that, but we'll stop. So keep in mind, put a circle on the word muwala. Muwala. Al-muwalatu or muwalatun. Is it obligatory? Is it not obligatory? It has some details in it. It has some details. Fadal. I'm sorry, sir. You don't have to start with your hands, but let me make that clear, because I don't want nobody to walk out of here and be like, well, I'm washing my face. I'm just start my face. They seen the Messenger of Allah washing his hands. So you should. It's highly recommended. So when you make wudu, you should wash your hands. Especially if they're dirty, especially if you was doing some work. You don't have to, but you should. I'll make that clear. You don't have to start with your hands, but you what? Exactly. But you don't have to. Let's say, for example, a person jumped right in wudu and they just seen them starting to wash their face. We're going to say his wudu is invalid? No. Should he have started with his face? With his hand, excuse me? Yes. You understand? So the arrangement of how they seen the Messenger of Allah, he did wash his hands. So to let you know, that's part of what? Wudu. But it's not what? It's not obligatory. Due to the verse in the Quran, it's clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it clear in this book. If you, I'm sorry. Absolutely, you should wash it. Absolutely, ears too. Ears is part of the what? It's part of the head. Al-udhunani min al-rats, as it comes in narration. Al-udhunani min al-rats. The hairs are from the what? From the head. Let's go back to it. Wash your hands before you make wudu. Just wash them. Wash them, please. Okay, everyone? We're talking about someone that they're in a rush and you just see them jumping and washing their face. Do we say that their wudu is invalid? No. Especially if they, in the midst of their wudu, they wash their hands all the way to where? Their elbow. So they're going to have to do it anyway. You understand? They're going to have to do it what? Anyway. However, what is highly recommended, of course, your hands is dirty, which is to let you know that person comes in. Of course, they're naturally going to put their hands where? Under the water. And it's already implied. It's implied. You can't wash your face except that your hands are going to be what? They're going to be wet in the first place. You understand? Exactly. But just to keep everything clear, because I don't want everybody to walk out of here and be like, well, I'm not washing my hands. Wash your hands. You understand? But in our religion, we can't say something that was obligatory. Because when you say to use the terms wajib, these affairs have some great meanings. That means that if you don't do it, your wudu is possibly what? Invalid. And if it's invalid, that means your what? Your prayers are valid. That's when you have to be very careful in the words you choose. Because you'll find a lot of people, they're quick to say, oh, that's wajib. Hey, do you know what that means? You understand? That's the reason why we have a separate science of religion called what? Usul al-fiqh. Not fiqh. Usul al-fiqh. Usul al-fiqh. To know what those terms mean and what it means, what it necessitates. That's why usul al-fiqh is very important. But at any rate, so for us to say something is wajib, we have to have a clear-cut what? Evidence to say it. It isn't any. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly mentioned what? The face first. You understand? But when you make wudu, wash your hands in the beginning. Okay. Fadl Yusuf. Uh-huh. You got socks under it or not? Wipe over the socks. Run it by me again. Say the question one more time. Run it by me again. Okay. The following day. Why in the midst of that you ain't change your socks and renew your wudu? Why did you do that? Took a shower, hopefully. Don't make me. From the socks from yesterday. Yeah, so you renewed your mess. You renewed your wipe for the new socks. You did it. You washed your foot for the new socks, right? So now after you took the old ones off, we already answered this question. We answered it. No, you can't. You gotta wash over your feet again. You gotta wash your feet again. Barefooted. No. 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 If you have socks, wipe over the socks. If you wore the socks in the manner that you washed your feet already. Keep that in mind. That's key. A lot of people don't know that. Especially a person that just became Muslim. They think, oh, I'll just come wipe over my socks, I'm good. No. You have to wash your feet barefooted first. Then put the sock on top of the foot. And if you broke wudu in that state while the socks is on, you can now what? Wipe over the sock. No. Wipe over the sock. A lot of people, that's widespread. I don't know why people think that. They put socks on, then put your shoes on top of the sock, and then they wipe over the shoe. Wrong. Wipe over the sock, not the shoe. Due to the fact that you're constantly taking your what? Shoes on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off. Based upon that, now you put yourself in the affairs of khilaf, as we talked about again. You don't want to mess around those matters. What you know 100% for sure, it's permissible to what? Wipe over my sock. You have to? Even if you did, let's just say you did it out of ignorance, don't worry about it. We're talking about from now on, here on out, wipe over your sock. Anything else? Indulge. Engage. He said, am I from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? I hope so. Inshallah, I hope so. I don't really, I hate these. I studied in 3 different places. I studied in Egypt in the late 90s, 1997, 98, 97, 97. I was in Egypt. Then I went to Yemen and sat with Sheikh Muqbil, rahimallah. I met him, made tea with him and everything. Am I a student for Sheikh Muqbil? No. I was only there for 3 months. That's it. 3 or 4 months. Then I left Yemen and came back here for a little minute, and I went overseas again, which is in the University of Medina. I studied there for about 7 years. I was in there and I sat with numerous ulama. From them, my father, and I still consider him my father, Rahimallah rahmatu wasi'ah, Shaykh Ubayd al-Jabiri. Also, I took knowledge from Shaykh Abdullah al-Bukhari. And I finished numerous books with him. Shaykh Abdullah al-Bukhari knows me very well. Let me keep going. I have more teachers. Also, I was allowed to sit with Shaykh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad. I finished Sahih, one of the books in the ilm, Kitab al-Ilm, with what the great Imam, Shaykh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad. Finished a couple of chapters of Sahih Bukhari. Also, I had the opportunity, numerous. Also, from who's a friend of mine, who was in the University of Medina, was Shaykh Arafat ibn Hassan Muhammadi. We were friends. We still are. I still contact him. We were friends. So, also, who were from my colleagues, who's also still a friend of mine, Sheikh Muhammad al-Ghalib. We still keep in touch. Hafidhullah wa ra'ah. Also, I can keep going. So people say that I'm no one. Okay, fine, that's cool. No problem. So in regards to that, I can keep going. But those are some of the teachers of today that I took knowledge from. Also, I studied with Shaykh Ali Nasir Faqihi, Rahimallah. I will say that for my autobiography. Shaykh Ali Nasir Faqihi, Rahimallah, also studied with him. I studied with him. I went over a couple of chapters of Kitab al-Iman. It was by Ibn Manda. Kitab al-Iman, which is not a book that's known, or I don't think no one taught it here in the West. But that's a very excellent book in Aqidah. If one wants to go over it, go over it. It's called Kitab al-Iman by Ibn Manda. Ibn Manda, which is a book in Aqidah. Also, some of the lesson, we'll stop with that. We'll stop there because it's just getting long. It's getting late. But that's inshallah. Hopefully, we ask Allah to make us and you from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Inshallah, I'll save it, put my autobiography up. I'll put it on again. I'll put it up soon. Inshallah. Any other questions about the lesson, anyone? Is there any? Any other questions, anyone? Kitab al-Iman by Ibn Mandah. Ibn Mandah. Mandah. What a hat. Mandah. Actually, Shaykh al-Nasir Faqih, he did the checking on the book. He did it himself, rahimahullah. It's an excellent book in Aqidah. Excellent. Excellent book. It's two volumes. The old ones are this big. Then he condensed it and made it smaller. The 2 volumes. Excellent book in Aqidah. Right, we'll stop here. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.